Welcome back to my channel. This is Kathy Breward of Rising Sun Organic Beyond 60. And I have been an esthetician a master esthetician for over 40 years. And for about the last 15 years, I have been a holistic aesthetics practitioner. And if you wonder what the difference is, I'll put a link to one of my videos, one of my first videos that talks about what the difference is between a allopathic esthetician and a holistic esthetician. So stay with me. I'm going to show you today, it's a little bit different than what I've done. The last 3 years, I have been working with a company, Neogenesis, and I've been doing their case studies. So I'm going to show you all my fabulous results of those and get you excited. So if this interests you, stay tuned, and don't forget to hit the subscribe, thumbs up, and the bell so you can get more videos coming up when hopefully I do them once a week. Let's get going here. Let me take you on a little journey. Several years ago, just right before COVID, I was following some of my fellow estheticians, master estheticians, on YouTube. And you know, one thing I was looking for, of course, I'm 71 years old. I was looking for help in my own skin and my clients, because I'm still working, and a good portion of my clients are mature skin. And there's things that we just, in 40 years, we didn't have things we could, protocols that we could follow to do real improvement. But today, it's a whole different tomorrow. And I noticed in their back bar, Neogenesis. And I thought, well, they've all got something in common. I need to follow up with this company, so I did. And as soon as I did, and I started getting my products in, COVID hit. And I thought, what am I going to do? So of course I've got a fantastic client base after being in this for 40 years. And so I started doing my own case studies during that period of time. So I'm going to show you and kind of go through the product line, which is very, very simple, and show you what I look like 3 years ago and the difference between my face and what it was 3 years ago. And I think you're going to see a big difference, because normally when you're 68 years old and then you're 71 years old, you look older. Well, you'll see in these pictures that that's not the case, and I contributed to Neogenesis. But let me tell you a little bit about Neogenesis right now. Neogenesis is a stem cell company, and what I don't mean that we're putting stem cells into your. We use a scientific model developed by Dr. Mcquire, and I will link his video down if you want to study this more, because I'm not a scientist. But it's the S²RM molecule. It's 2 molecules that will stimulate the cells in the body to act normal and repair and act younger. And any cell can be a stem cell. Stem cells become alive when we have an injury, when we have something that needs to be healed, when we need to condition the skin for maybe an upcoming surgery or for more surgery. There's just so many different things that I'm going to share with you. Very small line, and it's got 1 cleanser and a mineral mist. And the cleanser is 20%, I believe 20% stem cell, S²RM. And also the mineral mist. And the mineral mist we would refer to, like in our days, as a toner, but it's actually a vehicle to drive the stem cell and the molecules down deeper in the skin. So they work just hand in hand. And then, of course, we've got our moisturizers. We've got 3 different kinds. We've got intensive, we've got a barrier repair, and we've got light moisturizer. And then we have our big daddies. We have recovery. Recovery is 70% a square RM molecule. And that is what I use when I have some repair to be done. Whether I'm working on radiation burn, just glycation of the skin, lifting of the skin, dermatitis, rosacea, eczema, like I said, radiation burns, red therapy. They just go on, and hopefully you'll see the pictures that I put up. So you'll see the difference why we work with that. So that's 70%, and I use that for, like I just said, for my intensive advanced skin support. Then we have Booster, and Booster is at 40%. Pardon me, I got to put my glasses on so I don't forget what I'm. And Booster is an advanced renewal system, and it's, like I said, it's at 40%. But Booster has a lot more moisturizing agents in it. So it reduces the appearance of aging, it refines the skin tone and texture, and it calms the red. That's why sometimes we'll start right out with that, with rosacea and some of the more inflamed disorders that I come up with. And the last one is Skin Serum, and it's at 20%. And that's something that you can start using as early as we start aging and showing the signs of aging at 25 as a daily serum. And of course, we've got our eye serum that is fabulous. And it's a serum, so if you want to use the serum underneath your eye cream, that makes it even work that much better. And then we have what I was lucky enough to work with through these testing. We did some acne, we did a fabulous acne. And that was the salicylic acid gel, the mandelic acid gel, and the volcanic ash mask. We just came out with those just a few months ago, and I used those through the testing process. I used those through the testing process with my clients to experiment to see if they were effective or not, and boy, they sure were. And then of course we've got the Enzyme cream mask that we use several times, a couple times a week, just to help keep our skin bright. And enzymes kind of are like scrubbing bubbles. They just kind of eat away the dead skin cells and so forth. Much easier than using harsh scrubs and things like that. I'm all about non-inflaming the skin. And that started when I became a holistic esthetician, realized, this is causing some problems. All this inflammation, all this peeling, all these harsh products are causing trauma to the skin. So this is why I was excited at that time, because none of those have worked. They just caused more irritation. And as we all know, irritation isn't good for our bodies, but we continue in this industry with the dermatologists and the plastic surgeons and the estheticians. All they do is inflame the skin. And holistically, that's not what I do. And when I stop doing all that inflammation, because I go back to the 80s when the glycolics were first introduced, and we used to just burn the hell out of everything, till our face was just a scab. I think my face looks better today than I did at 50, except for this right here. But, it's come a long way, as you saw in my picture. So I was pretty excited to find a line that was so small and and so reparative. And with my clients, they were used to using 3 and 4 serums a day. And you know, it gets so, you use this and you use that, and but at nighttime you've got to use this, and it just was getting so complicated. And being European trained 40 years ago, we didn't do that. We didn't have a serum for every problem. I think that's just the marketing of our American way, the way we do things. And I have learned that. It's no scientific proof, but I've learned that through all the years of being an esthetician. So let's get on with this. The first person that I'm going to show you is the first person I worked on, and she has been a friend of mine since I was 14 and a kind of relative. But she had come over to my house and her skin was fried. And I'm sure if you follow me on YouTube, you've seen this video before. First of all, she's Irish. She loves to golf and she's been in the sun. She's your typical redhead. And I've used her for so many case studies, and boy, you should see her today. She looks fantastic. But the first one was she had just had red light therapy on her chest for some cancer, some cancers, some actinic keratosis, and some, actinic keratosis is kind of a benign, something we start getting on our skin, and sometimes it can turn into cancer. Most of the times it does. But it's kind of like the warning system. Our skin is the warning system on what's going on on our body. And I think if you learn the holistic versus aesthetics, you'll learn a lot about on how it's different. So I said, Janet, I just got this product in, and let's try it. I mean, what can hurt? She couldn't sleep with any clothes on. She couldn't put any sheets on her chest. It burned her so bad, and all they gave her was Aquaphor, and it did nothing, absolutely nothing. So 2 days into this, using the spray recovery, that's the 70% S2RM molecule, within 2 days she was starting to clear. She called me up on the phone and says, Kelly, I don't know what you gave me, but I've been able to sleep. It hasn't been hurting me, and I can put the sheets on my chest. Well, I had to see it right away, and like at that time, we were closed for 4 months, so I didn't really know what was going on. So I said, okay, well, let's start working on some other things. And even though I was closed, I started working with Neogenesis, with their fabulous team, Steve McGee, Dr. Greg Mcquire, and at that time my rep was Denise, and I've never had the support that I've had from a company with this. So I said, well, I've got some clients that I'm not going to be able to see monthly, and I would like to start them on some of this, because I've been, there's things that we come up that are just drive you crazy because you can't get them repaired. And I'm like a dog with a bone. I'm going to follow it, and I'm going to try everything, and I'm going to do my own case studies. I've been that way since the very beginning, and if it's not working, it's out the door. And like I said, my clientele is mature, and I've got them up to 85. I've got one 94 years old that's on recovery. So I really kind of hit them all. So anyway, then I let Neogenesis know right away what was going on with her chest. And you can see the difference in just a few months with the pictures that I'm putting up. So then we decided to work on her face. Janet had a lot of glycation, and what glycation is when the sugar molecule and the proteins, they stick together, like in a case of sun damage or diabetes or high sugar diet, and they do an orange peel look in your skin, and that's called glycation. You'll notice that above your lips. And then you also have elastosis, which is a little different, which is your elastin, and you start, having that dermal slide. And so they're treated the same way with Neogenesis, but before I treated them different. So we decided, okay, we're going to start you on this. So we did. And look at her picture. I mean, that was in 3-4 months. And she's in her and at that time she was in her late 70s. Well, then she said she had melanoma 3 times in her lifetime. And also her legs and her arms had purpura that was absolutely terrible. So we thought, okay, we'll start working on this too. I mean, what else do we have to do? So we started working on her arms and her legs. And here's the pictures of those in just a few months. And it just kept me busy through COVID. And just recently, because she was so effective and she's kind of been my guinea pig for everything, I started in last December. She had Mohs surgery on a squamous cell on her leg. It was horrendous. And she came into me, and she didn't know for sure while it was still open that she could start using it, because we usually want some closure a little bit, because the scars with Mohs surgery usually have to go back several times for lasers. I did another client too with her nose that I'll hopefully pull up if I've got pictures. But so it had been 3 months and she was still wearing a Band-Aid, and it looked awful, absolutely awful. Well, we got the okay from our medical staff, and because we work so much with cancer patients on scarring and radiation burns, like I just said. So we started on her leg, and again, the response, I will post those. So those are just a few of what I've done with Neogenesis just on one client. I have another client that I did for the top of this head, and I do regular treatments on him because he too has problems with actinic keratosis, which turn into cancers, and he has to have them burned off. But the protocol on that is to use a 3-week chemo cream, and I'll list the name of that. I can't always remember it, I'm 71. So, but it just eats the skin alive. It just creates a complete inflammation, just like what chemo does to your body. And it's all red and so forth. So I said, okay, and I approve this through our medical staff. Instead of doing that, let's put the recovery on the top of your head, and let's take pictures. And honest to God, just in a week, and I'll show you those pictures, it was responding. He also had a red mark that wasn't at that point diagnosed as cancer by his dermatologist, because that's always important for us to know. We're the first line of defense, estheticians are, on seeing what we suspect. We've got a lot of training in that because they see us more than they see their doctors. But he had a really red mark in his ear, and I thought, okay, let's try it. What do we got to lose? And honestly, in a week, it was just about gone. So that's another case. The other pretty successful, oh my God, so much successful, has been with rosacea. And I'll tell you, rosacea was one of those things years ago that the doctors told you, okay, you're never going to get rid of it. It's by this bacteria, the dermadex mite, on your face. And it's a bacterial infection, and we have to kill it. So we're going to give you antibiotics, and we're going to put cream on your face. And I thought, God, this just doesn't make sense to me, because they would get so bad after they went through this treatment. And it was frustrating for me, because on this hand, I'm trying to tone down the inflammation, and they're using products that are just, first of all, contributing to the problem. So once I got holistically certified. And it took a lot of years to find the certification programs that I could go to, because they didn't have them. This is Chinese medicine. They didn't have them for estheticians. And it was about, I'm going to say, close to 15 years that I started looking at all the toxins in our skin, that our skin is our third lung, and it's toxic. It's going to remove the toxins. So all skin disorders come from the gut. And we're seeing a movement toward this. And I'm glad, because not only are they coming from the gut, the United States has over 1,300 chemicals and formaldehyde and parabens in their foods and their skincare products and body care products, that we're the only country in the world that's legal. Canada has 500. And I'm in a movement to really, if I have a mission at this point of my career, it's that. It's what I follow, the EWG.org. And that is a organization that's striving to get laws about some of these chemicals, especially sunscreens. We're killing our children with these sunscreens. That's a whole nother video that I'm going to do in the next couple of weeks. And hopefully you'll follow it, because I think it's something you need to know. I get on these tangents. So anyway, I started looking at this. So I started treating skin a whole different, especially acne, especially rosacea, because it's a gut disorder. It's an imbalance in the body of your microbiome. And I believe, and I'm not a scientist, but I believe that all autoimmune disorders is contributed from the microbiomes in the gut. And so that's how I treated. So I had treated my client with acne differently before, but he broke out again after we got done. And so I tried him on Neogenesis. He became one of my case studies. And I also was treating him internally to help balance his microbiome. And because, even with acne, I had acne when I was 26. And they were still treating the same way that they treat it now with antibiotics. I took tetracycline for 5 years, and they treated me with topical and vitamin A, the retinol, and I was just always a mess, and I was in this business, so I wasn't impressing anyone. So then I started, like I said, I started studying some of the things from Europe on how and I cleared my face with some of their products in a matter of weeks. It was just some botanicals and that. And, being on those antibiotics, that's what caused your microbiome, part of it, birth control pills. Our foods today are horrendous, and we have no control over that. The Roundup is in all of our products because it's being genetically modified into our vegetables so they get good crops. I mean, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. So I just have really hit the bandwagon on clean green. And so I'm pretty excited about showing some of my proof that it does work. So anyway, those are a lot of my case studies, and I might come up with more because I didn't go through my rosacea one. My rosacea one, in fact, not one, I've done several. And again, like I said, I started on this, how they treated it with the antibiotics and the creams. So I took a different approach, and I started treating internally also and topically. And it was just very quick. that I could see the results that this was working. And I work with, when I'm working with clients in Chinese medicine, we work with face mapping. And I can tell if there's acne in here, what's causing it. If there's acne in here, what's causing it. If there's acne here or the forehead and what's causing it. And it's so interesting. I think I've been asked to do just an acne one, and that will come up. And the more followers I get, I'll be able to do more, show more before and afters, because it's pretty impressive, because we have fought that for so long. But back to rosacea. Rosacea, I have figured this out. And the reason why I started thinking it is I had treated so many cases with Neogenesis, and osmosis is another line that I do, and I will do a video on osmosis, on internals. And I thought, this person has never had rosacea before, and all of a sudden, one weekend, she has it. And I thought, I had that happen since the beginning of the year. I've had 3 people that's happened to. They were diagnosed with rosacea from the doctor because it came in 1 week. Well, my theory is it wasn't rosacea. It was actually a severe reaction from the sun, from their sunscreen, the chemicals in their sunscreen. And it created a sun-induced dermatitis. And it took a while to figure out, okay, what's doing this? But then I started putting the pieces together, and they all had similar things. Oh, I had sunscreen on. Well, I had sunscreen. Yeah, but you were in the sun 8 hours. Did you apply it every 2 hours? No, people don't do that. And you need to use 1/4 of a teaspoon, or some ridiculous amount, 1/4 of a tablespoon, I think it is, enough on your face. And if they're chemicals, those chemicals are going to cause some severe problems. So that's just some of my findings that I have had in my case studies. But I love Neogenesis, and the simplicity of the line. And yes, it's expensive. The serum is $320, but compared to my other lines, when they have to use multiple serpents, let's say they're using a retinol at night and a vitamin C in the day, and then they have their stem cell, and then they have their, their exfoliant, we're way up over that. And that's about a 4-month, but I'll tell you what, you're going to have results. And I'm comfortable with that. And you're not going to have to break the bank on everything else, because their cleanser, their mineral mist, all their moisturizers are only $50. They're the lowest priced moisturizers and the best, the barrier creams. And of course, getting into later, which I test drove with my acne cases, was the mandelic acid and the salicylic acid. And we started working with the volcano mask, which now is available. So what a great opportunity to work with this company. And again, I will show you, I will link down below, I can figure out how to do that, some of the more other studies that we've done. And if you think that this is something for you that you need help with, and I'm saying, we've got 3 different serums, and not everyone needs recovery. Not everyone needs, like skin serum. That's more for the younger. But if you need to work with me, just direct message me, and I'll be gladly to advise you. You can send me some pictures, and I will do an evaluation and tell you what I think is going on. So I'm trying to get better on cutting my videos short. So I'm going to kind of wrap this up. But if you're interested in what I have to say, and I'd like to say this too. As I've said, I've been in this game for quite a few decades, and I've done my own case studies. I know what works. I know what doesn't work. So how can you promote a product that somebody sent you in the mail and you used for 2 weeks? When you're looking at a product, I want you to ask yourself some questions. What's the science behind it? What's the delivery? Who makes it? Where is it made? Does it have paraffins in it? Is it oncology safe? And that's the biggie. Is it oncology safe? And is it EWG approved? Environmental Working Group. Because there's so much out there on our market, and 99% of the products are made in China, so they're going to have preservatives in it. And does it test on animals? And I'm a big advocate on that. I don't use, my makeup brushes aren't animal derived, and I'm just a real cracker on all this stuff. But you know what? I've seen it. I've seen what retin-A does to the skin. It thins it till it's just like paper. And you can't have that much irritation. So it just goes on and on and on with what I've seen over the years. So if you like this information and you're interested in my up and coming videos, hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up, and hit the bell too, because the bell's going to tell you that I have a new video coming up. And share it with a friend. I'm trying to build, I'm at 76, I think, subscribers. I'm getting pretty excited because when I started this, I had no idea what social media was. But after I get 100, then I could do lives, and then I'm going to do a lot of lives. So you guys have a wonderful day, and a lot of you are so hot. Take care of yourself. Stay away from everything's going around. And again, you have a super blessed day.